Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Emily and I post a ton of bookish content on here for you guys. And if you are not new here, hello, welcome back, happy to have you. So for today's video, first we're going to be going to a coffee shop and just getting some coffee, relaxing, reading. I'm going to be bringing my Kindle as opposed to a physical book just because I'm reading an ARC that I got from NetGalley, so thank you so much NetGalley, and that is Ashton Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. If you know me, you know I was obsessed with Delilah Green Doesn't Care, so I am enjoying it so far. I'm like 35% of the way through, and hopefully we can get to around 50-60% at the coffee shop. But the main part of this video is when we come back, because I'm going to be actually going through my bookshelf with you guys, and I've seen a lot of people do this maybe the opposite way that I'm going to, but this is just what makes sense to me. So I'm actually going to turn around all the books that I have read, and then that way all of the spines of the books that I haven't read are showing, and I can show you guys all the books that are left on my TBR. So I know I have read far less books on my bookshelf than I have not read, if that makes sense. I am pretty sure I've probably read maybe around 35 to 40% of the books on my bookshelf, which means I'm going to be showing you guys a lot of books today. And I do have an addiction of buying books, it is true. It is, you know what, reading is a hobby, but buying books is also a hobby. So I'm not ashamed of my bookshelf. I am so happy that I've purchased all these books. A lot of these have been gifted too, but nonetheless, that is what this video is going to be today. So please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I'm really excited to show you guys all the books that I have not read yet, and hopefully this motivates me to look through my bookshelf and realize what books I'm actually still excited about, and maybe I'll even see some that I want to donate or give to a friend. But yeah, so let's go to the coffee shop, and then when we get back we will deal with the bookshelf. Okay, you guys, we are now home. I'm at my lovely bookshelf here. Still, I'm obsessed, and I haven't wanted to change anything in this room because I think it just turned out so well. But this is my bookshelf. I have two of the mainstay bookshelves from Walmart, and I believe they were like $60 each. So by no means are these nice, high-quality bookshelves, but for the time being, it is exactly what I needed. Holds all my books, and I actually have extra space, which is great. But as I mentioned before, we are going to be going through, and instead of doing the trend where you turn all the books around that you haven't read, I'm going to be turning around all the books that I have read. That way we can get an idea of exactly how many books I still need to read, and then I can go through and show you each one. So for this next part, I'm just going to put a little music and you guys can watch me turn all my books around. Okay, you guys, I did it. There is a bottom shelf that has all of my nonfiction, but I'm just going to include just purely fiction for this because that's basically all I read. I've read like maybe a few of my nonfiction, and I do want to get to them eventually. But for this video, I am showing you all the fiction, and so you can get a nice look now. Alright, you guys. Hello! So we are starting off on my fantasy shelf here. As you can see, I turned around all of the books that I have read, so the books in fantasy that I still need to read are the second and third book in the Folk of Air series. So we have The Wicked King and the Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. We have the entire Lord of the Rings series here, which I have read from like a little bit, but not all of it. The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune, Caraval by Stephanie Garber, The Curse Breakers by Holly Black, Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw, Scythe by Neil Schusterman, From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout, Gallant by V.E. Schwab, and Unravel Me by Tahira Mafi. So those are all the fantasy. Oh, and then I forgot about these two here. These are my ACOTAR ones that I still haven't read. So I haven't read the novella A Court of Frost and Starlight, and I also haven't read A Court of Silver Flames, but I have read the rest of it, as you can see, and I've annotated it beautifully. So that is my fantasy shelf. Obviously, I have a lot to read, a lot to get to. This is my smaller romance shelf. When we go up one more, that is the other two shelves of my romance. But as you can see on the shelf, I only have 3 that I have read, so I still need to read Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman, Pack Up the Moon by Kristen Higgins, Say You Still Love Me by K.A. Tucker, which I want to get to that one very soon, The Paris Connection by Lorraine Brown, Barefoot by Ellen Hilderbrand, which, hello, fun fact, I tried reading that one and I had to DNF it, so hopefully I read it someday. And lastly, we have Something Wilder by Christina Lauren. So let's move on up. So my next shelf here has the majority of my Colleen Hoover, so we can start there. I have yet to read, also, I'll move this one, but he's so cute. I have yet to read Without Merit, Confess, Maybe Someday, and Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. All of these ones I have read. And then we have Love and Gelato by Sarah Evans Walsh, I believe, Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey, The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang, Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hebert, The Last Post by Relaine Carlino, and then here, I have not read a single book from the Selection series, but I really want to soon, and then I have yet to read the last book in the Summer I Turn Pretty series, which is We Will Always Have Summer. So, that is my second last romance shelf. And then at the very top, sorry the angle's a little weird, but at the very top, as you can see, I have read a little bit more here, but I still have to read Nick and Charlie by Alice Oseman, Read Between the Lines by Rachel Lacey, and then one that you can't see here is The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. Then I also have The Breakup Book Club by Wendy Wax, What If It's Us by 2 authors, their last names are Albertalli and Silvera, By Any Other Name by Laura Kate, the first book in the Addicted series, which is Addicted to You by Chrisette and Becca Ritchie, Penelope Douglas's Punk 57, The Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood, Someone Please Convince Me to Read That Book, the Bromance Book Club by Lissa K. Adams, and lastly for romance we have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Moving on, we are starting with my thrillers, so this is just a small portion of them, and then we have 2 more shelves just like romance, because that is like the majority of books I read are thrillers and romance. But as you can see from the top shelf, I've only read 1 of these. So we have The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. We have the first 2 books from the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. So we have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and A Good Girl, Bad Blood. I am waiting for the 3rd book to come out in a paperback. And then we have Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glaslow, Killer Content by Olivia Black, A Dream of a Woman by Casey Plett, and Bunny by Mona Awad. So let's move on down to the next one. So you can see on this shelf that I actually have read quite a few of my thrillers here. So the ones that are remaining are You Are Not Alone by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen, The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ning, The Silent Woman by Sarah Bladel, Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, and then we have a lot of horror and like Stephen King here. So we have Joyland by Stephen King, Skeleton Crew, Everything's Eventual, and Misery by Stephen King. And then we also have Finer Girls by Riley Sager and Whisper Man by Alex North. I do want to mention that I have like 8 thrillers on the ground for my October TBR as well, but that video is going up before this, so you will see which ones I am hoping to read in October. For my last shelf of thrillers, I have a lot to do, clearly. I have to read The Farm by Joanne Ramos, The End of Her by Sherry Lapina, You'll Thank Me for This by Nina Siegel, and then right here we have Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier and The Plot by Jean Humph Corlitz. Then we also have Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell, My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell, and The Jigsaw Man by Nadine Matheson. Moving on to my last fiction shelf, I have my more contemporary fictions and classics here. So I still have to read Anxious People by Frederick Bachman, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery, The Children Act by Ian McEwan, The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, and I believe that's it for like more classic-y type books. And then we also have Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney and Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I have read the other 2 books by Rebecca Searle, but I still have to read The Dinner List by Rebecca Searle. Then we have Serena Singh Flips the Script by Sonia Lawley, The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by TJR, or Taylor Jenkins Reid. Again, someone please convince me to read that. And then we have One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid, The Vanishing Half and The Mothers by Britt Bennett, Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, and lastly, Detransition Baby by Tori Peters. Alright you guys, I just counted how many books in total I have versus how many I need to read, so I'm going to tell you the percentage of how many I've read versus how many I have not read. So at the beginning of this video, I think I was like, oh, I've only read maybe 35 to 40% of the books. I was pretty well spot on. I have read 38% of my books, meaning that I still need to read 62% of them. Do I have a problem? Yes. Will I be stopped? No. That being said, I feel like the total, just so you know, was 136 books on my shelf right now, and I've only read 48 of them, meaning that I still have to read 88 of them. So, we love that. I'm gonna put in a clip right now just for you guys to see what it looks like now that I have flipped the books around that I have already read. It can give you a really great idea of how many I still need to read in comparison. But that is it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching and seeing all the books that are still on my TBR pile. There's a lot, clearly, but I am so excited to get to all of them. I think I maybe only saw 1 or 2 that I'm like debating on donating. But that being said, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed it. Turn on that notification bell as well so you get notified whenever I post a video and we can hang out together. I post every single Friday. And without further ado, I will see you in my next video. Bye!